Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and this is the More Intuitive Me. I'm a tarot reader and your companion on the path of self-discovery. Let's flip some cards and dive into the magic. Today we're going to recap the month of September. Let's start with books. So, of course, I am still continuing to work in my Year of the Hermit guided journal. And for the month of September, let's see, the topic has been gathering. So it's been all about gratitude, progress, and preparing for what's next. And actually, I really like this because this month kind of started with a list of beautiful affirmations. And I'm going to share some of my most favorite ones. I am whole, even in moments of confusion. I love that one so much. I honor my need for rest, retreat, and renewal. I let go of the need for external validation. My stillness is where my greatest growth begins. So good. Outside of this journal, I haven't been doing a lot of journaling in the month of September, but something that I have been doing is creating art with readings. And so I'll show you an example. I got a reading by one of the members of our community, and I then created this piece of art in my journal. I had a lot of fun with this, and I find that when working on pieces like this, it helps me to digest the reading. And I really enjoyed it. So I did it one additional time. I tried my hands at collage art, and you could see what I created. So in this particular reading, I believe I'd gotten the Sun card, the Three of Wands, and I think the King of Wands too. And I used that to create this piece, and I was pretty happy with the way that it turned out. It was a lot of fun. Art is awesome because you can use it to transmute energy, but in this particular case, I found that it was really helpful to integrate the readings that I was receiving. So that is my journal. In addition to that, I have been reading through Lennon's most recent book. I'm beta reading currently, and this has been pretty awesome. I finally figured out how to get the book on my iBook app. And so now I can highlight, I can make notes, I can write, and it's so much better because now I can track. You could see I've left little notes to myself throughout as I read, and this has been awesome. So this book is gonna be coming out very soon. And shoot, what was the date? I'll pull up the date and I'll put it on the screen for you. But it's been awesome. Beta reading is really cool, gives the opportunity to provide feedback on the book before it comes out. And you can see I left a note here on this particular page. Does magic have a shape? And she says, let's say that I sat myself as a child down and said, magic is real. I said, I can hear you saying this. And I totally could. So this has been pretty cool. I really enjoy reading through. I love all of her books and decks, but this particular book has been quite special. This month, I have done quite a bit of shopping. So I picked up some crystals. Now, I can officially say that Carolina made me do this. uh, she had made a purchase from cold brew crystals, and the crystals were just absolutely stunning. And so I placed an order, and we have it here. Thank you for supporting us. Oh, so cool. See, so there's the contact info if you decide to check them out. And it looks like they have a YouTube page. So I literally only purchased 2 items. So I'll pull those out here. And I got a thank you gift. Look how gorgeous. To me, this is like crystal confetti, and I'm already seeing a bunch of chips and pieces that I recognize and love. So that's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's start here. By the way, today I am wearing some new pieces of jewelry that I picked up from my favorite reseller, Turtle. Shoot, I forgot her full channel name, but it's Beth. And is it Turtle Shell? At Turtle Shell, I'll put it on the screen. But I am wearing my cha-cha bracelet. You see that? And the matching cha-cha ring. I really enjoy spending time with Beth, and I do pick up jewelry pieces from her from time to time, and it's a lot of fun. So let's see. Ooh, do you see that? It's gorgeous. It's a money toad. I wanted to pick it up to add to my abundance crystal grid. Isn't it gorgeous? Wow. I forgot what stone this was already. I quickly checked, and it is blue onyx. Isn't that awesome? It's gorgeous. Okay, now the second piece I'm very excited for. I've been wanting a really nice piece of quartz, clear quartz. I saw this piece. I decided to get it, although it was smaller than what I was looking for. The quality was so amazing that I decided I was just gonna do it anyways. Goodness gracious, the struggle is real. Okay. Wow, wow. Oh my, you could literally see straight through it. Wow. Can you see that? It's stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. It's an incredible piece. I'm thrilled to have this in the collection. It's so beautiful. Wow. Thank you to Cold Brew Crystals and to Carolina for sharing this beautiful shop. This month, I also decided to pick up dowsing rods. I've been wanting to do this ever since I returned from Arizona, and I just never got around to it. And the other day, um, I finally did it. These are copper, and they're beautiful. Look at that. I wanted to make sure to get the handles like this to allow for movement. I'm literally holding them completely still. You see that? No, because I'm out of frame, but they've settled in a certain position. These are really cool. I am very much looking forward to connecting with them and using them in my practice. They're awesome. Speaking of turtle shell, I picked up a couple of new pieces. So you can see I picked up another, it's very similar to this. It is like a cha-cha style bracelet. The colors are absolutely beautiful. That's kind of what drew me in. To me, I thought it was like pink and purple, but I could see there's a little bit of champagne. And then I picked up a new ring, and um, I'll show it to you here. Now, this is picture jasper. Look how beautiful that is. I've been wanting a really nice ring, something that was a little bit chunkier. And I finally found one in my size. And when I got it home, I realized what a beautiful compliment it was to the cha-cha bracelet. I didn't even realize. So, absolutely stunning. It fits here. Look how beautiful that is. It's a statement. It's a statement piece. If I wear this, I would not wear anything else with it. I would just wear it like that. It's gorgeous. Picture Jasper. So yeah, I have it. I'm not wearing it because I like to uh, cleanse my jewelry, not just physically but also energetically. And I have yet to do that with these pieces. But oh, I cannot wait because this one is stunning. I also picked up some new decks in time for spooky season. So I added Raven's Prophecy. Many of you may be familiar with this deck. I've been eyeballing this deck for such a long time. I finally decided to go ahead and do it. So I'm very much looking forward to getting into this one. It's still in the packaging, and I'll be doing an unboxing with this one and a few of the other decks that I picked up. It's not technically a Halloween deck, but because of the colors, it feels like Halloween. So I went ahead and I picked it up. Just before I started filming, my second package was delivered. It's so big, it doesn't even fit, but this is my Llewellyn purchase. So Llewellyn was having a sale, and I decided to take advantage and pick up a few new decks for the month of October. So these are going to be decks that I will be working with. And again, I'm going to get them out of the box, but I'll do like a separate unboxing for them. Well done on the packaging. So I picked up Tarot of the Haunted House. I am so excited about this. Is a deck that I've been thinking about for so long, and every year around this time of year I look at it and then I talk myself out of it. And Carrie over at Carrie's Mystical Musings was going to be doing a deck study, and it was going to be in between this deck and one other. Unfortunately, this one did not win, but I decided to pick up the deck anyways. So yeah, this is the Los Scarabeo deck by Sasha Graham. I'm very much looking forward to getting into this. In fact, I would very much love to do a deeper study with this. So if anybody is interested, let me know. Now, the other day I saw Debbie from Debbie's Witchy, shoot, is it Debbie's Witchy blog? I'll check. But she was using this deck, and I was like, I just can't believe that I don't have it. I have one of her other decks, and so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get it. So I picked up the Halloween Oracle by Stacy DeMarco, and last but not least, I picked up the Darkwood. This is a Sasha Graham deck. The art is by Abigail Larson, and I love decks that tell a story. Again, a deck that I have thought about so many times. I've heard so much wonderful feedback about this deck in terms of being an excellent deck for shadow work. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. Llewellyn was having a sale, 35% off. And I just said, let's do it. So these are the decks that are going to be coming into the collection and that I'll be working with in the month of October. Friends, if you love tarot and this content resonates with you, please make sure to like and subscribe. Tap the bell icon so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And thank you so much for being here. Let's talk about the decks that I have been using this month. So I'll start here. Tarot of Mystical Moments. Many of you know that this is a soul deck for me. I adore this deck. I don't get tired of talking about it or showing it every month in my channel. There we go with reversals again. What in the world? I feel like this has been happening more and more, and perhaps this is Spirit's way of telling me it's time. Of all my decks, this is the only one that has kind of said you need to start using reversals. And I did at one point shuffle reversals in. And then when I pulled the deck back out, I'm using it right now for the Hermit Journal. And look at that. I feel like it's saying do it again. I pulled all the reversals out for the Hermit Journal, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I will shuffle them back in when I'm done with this journal study. So, yeah, that's the Tarot of Mystical Moments. In addition to that, I have been using my Naturescapes. I had a very specific theme this month. You'll see that as I go through the decks. This is a make plain card deck. There are the card backs. And I mean, what can I say? I love this deck. It's so beautiful. And I didn't realize that how well I would be able to read with this deck. I thought that this deck would be a challenge. I initially picked up this deck because I wanted the Majestic Earth and I couldn't get my hands on it. So I thought this would be a great compromise. And so I picked it up and I just adore it. Like I feel like I don't need any other deck. This one kind of does the trick for me. So I love this deck, and I have been using kind of sticking with a nature theme this month, and this is the one of the decks that I have been working with. So that is my Naturescapes. Next, I'll show you my Vision Quest, another deck that I have been working with this month, and it's been such a joy working with this deck. Um, Very, very awesome readings. I do find that you have to use this deck a certain kind of way. It takes time, right? To get to know it and to see how it would make best sense to use it. But it's awesome energy. It does have keywords. I find that sometimes the keywords make sense. Like, for example, here, Six of Fire, victory, but sometimes the keywords are a little bit different. So I do find that that kind of opens it up to other interpretations. And sometimes I just don't even look at the keyword and I just kind of read what I see based on the cards that I have pulled. So I have been exploring with this deck. And as a matter of fact, I decided to use this deck as a daily card pull, and I found that to be excellent. because in that situation, the key word has been incredibly helpful for me. So I do find it works great in that way. It also works great, like if you want to pull one card from here and then supporting cards from a different deck, that lends itself beautifully in our reading as well. So there's many uses for this deck, but like maybe not the traditional way that we read. Again, a lot of the cards make perfect sense, like Nine of Water, joy, that's a possibility. But then here we have Eight of Air, and then the keyword is interference, right? That's a little bit different. The other thing about this deck that I think a lot of times we forget is that this deck is thought based. So of course, it's going to be a little bit different than what we're used to here. Seven of Earth, we have the keyword depletion. That's a little different, but a few times this card has come up for me in live readings, and it's amazing how I have been able to pull in the imagery of the card. So it's been really great getting to know this deck a little bit better, and definitely in the theme for the month of September. I also decided to take out my Gaian. So many of you know, like I bought this deck and then I had it in the box forever and ever. And then I finally took it out after 2 or 3 years and opened it up and decided I was going to trim the deck. So then I trimmed off those big blue borders, and then I still felt disconnected. And so I did a private deck study with this deck. Just a small group of us got together and we got into the deck, the symbolism, the artwork, all kinds of things, the numerology of the deck. And afterwards, I felt like, I don't think this is a deck for me. I don't know. I just put it away and I was like, I don't think I'll ever use this deck, is what I thought. But when I received the deck from Lennon Smith, the Wild Nature, Wild You, and I was going through it and doing some pairings, I found that this deck looked really beautiful with that one. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a try. OMG. What an awesome time we have had. I'll tell you this, with this deck, you have to read it intuitively because there are a lot of cards that are RWS, but there are other cards that are not RWS, and sometimes they don't even make sense. So, when you kind of let go of that RWS system and just kind of read it intuitively, it has opened itself up in the most beautiful of ways. It has been such a shock and surprise to work with. And I'm so happy that I held on to it for as long as I did and eventually gave it a shot, because I would never have known that if I didn't try. And it's just been so awesome. My God, I just I can't get over it. I can't get over it. We got this card last night in live readings. This one too. Like the cards are so good. So anyways, there you go. That's my, my little talk about giving decks a try, right? Even when you go through and you're like, yeah, this is not going to work. Like when you look at this, to me, this is not like Seven of Fire energy. Like this seems like, the card of apprenticeship. So it's hard because then you start making judgments like that doesn't make sense. Why'd they do this? Why'd they do that? Right. When you start working with the deck, it really opens itself up and then allows for that connection. So it's been great working with this deck. So that is my Gaian. Last tarot deck that I worked with. Now this is not in the theme of nature, but I used this because I lit a fire, and this was the deck that I took with me for that. So this is the Sun and Moon tarot, and this is a trimmed copy of the tin edition, right? I keep this in my purse, and it's my purse deck. So I used to use this all the time for moon readings, and it just does really, really well. And so the day that I decided to do the fire, I took the deck with me, and this is what I use. It's just great. And now after having it for so long, I'm just like wondering, like, why didn't I ever get the full size version of this? I mean, I love it. I love the artwork. It's small. So it would be nice to have the larger deck so you can see the artwork better. This is one of those decks where the characters don't have faces, kind of like the Tarn Ellis deck, Earth Woman. But I don't mind that because I still feel like I get what I need from the body language, the positioning of the hair, the even though there's no face, I still see facial expressions when I look at these cards. So it's been super, super cool. All right. So that is my sun and moon, my purse deck. That ironically, every time I need my deck in my purse, I realize it's in the other purse. Do you ever do that when you switch bags? And then you realize that not everything that you need is in there. Let's move on to oracles. It was a busy month. I've been using a lot of my oracle decks, and I'm happy about that because I have to say that there were a lot of I have a ton of oracle decks, and I just hardly use them, to be honest. I pair them periodically, but I hadn't been using them as often, and now that I'm working on the archetype series and a lot of my decks are incomplete, then what I find is that I'm gravitating more towards the oracle cards, which has been great because now I'm actually using the decks that I have, and this is one of them. This is the Love Oracle. I recently did a flip through of this deck. It's super awesome. Obviously, it's for love readings. The uses for this deck are a bit limited because it is um, a love deck. I do find that outside of love, perhaps it could be used for other relationships or friendships or possibly business, but it's hard, right? Because some of the decks, like if you, let's say that you got like a lot of these titles are awesome, but then, like, if you're doing a career reading and you get soulmates, what are you supposed to do with that, right? So it's kind of hard. But it could be stretched. It could be stretched, but that's pretty much it. It can't do like all the things. But that's the reason why we have so many decks in our collection, so that we have a deck for everything, right? So that is my love oracle. Here we have my cemetery oracle. I adore this deck. This deck, I feel like, oh, it just goes so well with so many decks. I got the massive expanded edition. It's a double, in essence, like a double deck, but because it's linen finish, then I can manage it in my hands the way that I would, shuffle any other deck. But this deck is amazing. I think this is by Mary Louise Wessels, and also a make playing card deck. I love this deck. This is so versatile. You could use this for anything. I've even used this as a spread deck. Pull out some cards and then throw some tarot on top of it and call it a day. It's awesome. This deck, it's so emotive, and I love the mix, some black and white, some color, some muted, some bright, and a really good mix of keywords. It's an awesome, awesome deck. It goes with so many of my decks. That's the other thing. Like, it's amazing. Look, I called that one rose gold. It's so pretty. So yeah, that is my cemetery oracle. Speaking of Stacy DeMarco and moon decks, moon reading decks, I have Queen of the Moon, another gorgeous, gorgeous deck. Starting to get a little bit of a bow, but it is what it is. It's a shiny deck. So gorgeous collage style, beautiful, beautiful art, great guidebook. I love this deck. It's so pretty. So, so pretty. I don't even feel like I need to talk. I could just get lost in the imagery and and the keywords is so stunning. So yeah, another deck that I enjoyed this month. Very beautiful deck. All right, so my Queen of the Moon Oracle. Here we have Seeds from the Sacred Feminine. This went along with my nature-based theme, and so I used this deck in conjunction with my nature tarot decks, the Gaian, Naturescapes, and Vision Quest, and it's just incredible. It's beautiful, vibrant art, indigenous artists, and I absolutely love this deck and came in quite handy this month. It's just awesome. Another deck that I could just stare stare at the art and just get lost. It's beautiful. So yeah, I'll stop here. Embrace a new idea. Love it. Sticking with that nature theme, I have Wild Nature, Wild You. Now, this particular version of the deck is no longer available, but this is a make playing card deck available um, for purchase in its new form. I think what this is Lennon Smith creation, and I think what she has done is remove some of the animals and made it more of a nature deck. And she had this copy and thought that I might like to work with it, and she sent it over and I immediately put it to use. I have been using this deck as a weekly card pull. I've also been using it for live readings, and it just reads incredibly well. Beautiful, beautiful match to the naturescapes. Also used it with the Vision Quest with the Gaian. I mean, they just look great together. The keywords are awesome. I really, really enjoyed my time with this deck. So that is Wild Nature, Wild You. And here I have Sacred Medicine Oracle. Gosh, this deck was a huge shock and surprise for me. I picked this up during the Hay House sale. Here are the card backs. This deck has been awesome. Like out of all the decks that I picked up, this is the one that I have been using the absolute most. Obviously, indigenous creator, and beautiful, beautiful match to the naturescapes, but also to Vision Quest. I have also been taking this deck. I have been going to Truth Wave, which is a meditation group, and I have been serving as a guest reader there every 2 weeks. At the end of the meditation, we have a spin the wheel, and I have been using this deck, and it's just been so well received, so loved. Everyone loves the way that the guidebook is written, they love the art. So here you'll have seed planter, then you have a keyword intention, but then in the guidebook, this is the part that I love. So here, for example, we have number 35. So when you go into the book, you have the intention, but my favorite part here is the sacred ceremony, and then it has a beautiful healing affirmation. I infuse my thoughts and beliefs with a positive conscience frequency, planting seeds of beauty. It's just so awesome. Very beautiful deck. getting a lot of use for sure. So that is the Sacred Medicine Oracle deck that I picked up from Hay House. I'm thrilled with this one. As you know, I have been working on learning astrology. And so this deck has been fundamental. It is still in order because I don't shuffle and draw cards from this deck. Um, you absolutely could. The artwork is beautiful. I have seen it paired to other decks and it's stunning. But what I do is I use it to help me understand all the different energies. So, of course, there's cards for each of the signs. The only one that is missing is the 13th sign of Fucus. And then we have cards for each of the elements, as well as cards for fixed, cardinal, and mutable, which I always find very confusing. We have cards for the sun and moon, planetary cards, which is pretty awesome because some you remember, like Jupiter, like I know that that's the planet of expansion, right? The one that forces or brings about growth. But then some of the other ones I don't always remember, includes Chiron here. But yeah, this has been so awesome. I've been using it in different readings. It even tells us here, like we have opposition, trine, square, sextile. It has a really good mix. You have the nodes, yin and yang. Oh, and I forget, look, it even has a card for each of the houses. So if you wanted to lay out your birth chart, you could do that. This is a great deck. I really love the card stock. Like it's just, this deck is an experience. I love it. I love that I have this in the collection. So there's my study deck, Heavenly Bodies Astrology. You'll know that I have been doing a bit of dream work, and this is one of the decks that has been pivotal in that work. And this is the Dream Ritual Oracle cards. Now, I want to start by saying that I originally, when I got this deck, I knew that it was a dream deck, but I didn't use it that way. I just used it like a regular oracle, and I absolutely love it. Why? Because I love these colors. I love cool colors. There's a lot of blues and greens in here, some purples. The keywords are awesome. The artwork is very intuitive, and I find that it's an excellent reader. Not only that, it pairs really well with a lot of my decks. So this has been a deck that I've been using in the evenings before bed. I will pull out a card, I will read the guidebook, and then there's a dream intention for each card. And then I take that dream intention with me into my thoughts as I drift off to sleep. So it's been awesome. That is my dream ritual oracle cards. I've been using it with the Cosma Visions, and I have said this time and time again. I have the tin version, and it's a great deck, but it's a study deck, right? This isn't a type of deck that you could just pick up and read. It is a tarot deck, but also oracle deck because everything in this deck has been renamed. And I've had such a beautiful time with this deck that I decided to pick up the full version, the full size version of it. So let's take a look. I understand that this is a different edition. Recently, I did a comparison of two decks that I didn't realize had changed, and it was a huge shock and disappointment. Gorgeous box. Looks like clamshell, very like soft finish. Look at that. It's so pretty. So you know that the tin edition comes with this little folding pamphlet. It does the trick. I don't mind because I have the full size guidebook. So I'm glad that I have that because ooh, now I have this deck. This deck will now come with its own little mini booklet, which is quite nice. Okay, very nice. Same beautiful edges. You could tell it was printed in two batches. You see that? But same beautiful edges. Let's see if there are any, and it looks like same card backs. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so you already know it looks like the same cardstock. Awesome. That all of the majors were renamed. Now you could see the artwork even better. Oh, look at the peacock card. I always love that card. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, the tin size version was nice and it was pretty affordable at the time because I picked it up during the Kickstarter campaign. So far, so good. You know, I always talk about it that with this deck, it's a study deck, so I hardly ever use it because it requires pulling out the big old guidebook and digging in and what does it mean and all the things. But at nighttime, when I combine this with the dream deck, I have more time. So I actually have been sleeping with the guidebook right on my bed, and I'm just taking the time to get to know it. The all the majors were renamed, and you know, the court cards, like the suits I get and I follow. You could read those. Pretty RWS. Oh, look, this one has an extra card. Dream World. Oh, how pretty. Okay. But then the challenge becomes the courts, because all the courts are completely renamed. There's no matchy matchy. It's like 16 completely different titles. So you know how some decks rename and you'll have like four guardians or four explorers or four child, son, daughter. Like this deck doesn't do that. There's like 16 completely different titles. I like it. A part of me feels like I do see some changes in the art, but nothing that is like jarring. It's really beautiful. You can see the artwork better. All right. So I have my court cards mixed in, so they must have their court cards in the back. So let's see. Yeah. So let's do this. All right. So we have the Wanderer. So this is Suit of Fire. This one you could tell that it's fire because there's fire, but then we have Shapeshifter, Mystic, and Protector. So when you look at these, you don't see gender, you don't see age, like you can't tell the order, like, oh, first is the page, and then is the knight, and then is the queen. No, there's none of that. So for that reason, it's a challenge when you're reading the cards, because you have to stop. Like there's no way around it. You have to stop and get the book and figure out where you are. But what I found was that when I'm doing dream work and I pull one of these cards, all of a sudden it's like I don't know, for some reason it just makes more sense in dream work. When you pull a card and you're like, oh, the mystic. And then you start reading into that, right? Like it's just super, super cool the way that that shifts the mood of the deck. And I know that it's not the point of the deck, right? The point of this deck is that it takes you through the stages once the soul transitions out of the body. That's the point of this deck. But you know, it has other uses. It's a beautiful deck. I love the art. Like, I just love it. I love the coloring. So even if I didn't, I would find the way. Like, I would find the way to figure out how to use it or create my own uh my own meetings, but I don't need to, because for all of the minors, with the exception of the courts, they're pretty straightforward. 10 of Lotus. Okay, that has to be water, and everybody understands what the 10 of Cups is, right? So that part is easy. But then when you get to the courts, composer, let's see. So for the water, ooh, for water, we have Weaver. No, that's not water. Okay, hold on here. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So we have composer, romantic, mender, and peacemaker, right? So completely different than what the previous suit court cards were called. So it's an experience. This deck is an experience. This is the type of deck that you pull out. A lot of people love James R. Eads' artwork, but then find that they just, end up releasing the decks because it's not a deck that a lot of times people pull for. But that's because these are more like study decks that do their own thing. And so when you're reading with a deck like this, you have to have time. I mean, this would be awesome for past life reading as well, I think. Incoming call. Sorry about that. All right. So here we have, okay, so now we have the Weaver. I mean, it's a gorgeous deck. I don't know what I was talking about, but so far I don't see any changes except that the larger deck comes with an extra card, which is kind of nice. And I love that I could see the artwork better. I love the trees, the suit of trees in this deck, the earth deck. I love it. It's so beautiful. Lotuses too. I really like the lotuses in this deck. I think the air is birds, which, makes sense. So the suits were renamed, but to something that you could understand. I feel like this is a deck that you would just read intuitively if you didn't want to fool around with the guidebook. But now I have the big guidebook. I have the regular guidebook that comes with the deck. And I also have the little handout that comes with, oh, you can see that so much better. The little pamphlet that comes with the mini deck. I don't think I would get rid of the mini deck now that I have the big deck. I've been thinking about doing this for so long, but because this is a deck that I hardly ever use, I was like, oh, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But he was having a sale. James R. Eats, he was having a sale, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Maybe there are things in the images that I'll be able to see better that I didn't notice before too, because now the deck is bigger. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So yeah, that is my Cosma visions. Friends, thank you so much for joining me for reflections on the month of September, along with a little mini unboxing. I appreciate you all so, so much. Thank you for all of the love and the support that you bring to my channel, for watching my videos, for being so good at commenting. It means the world to me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.